I finally have money, and this is what it's like to have money. This is the currency within my South Africa. This is equivalent to approximately, I want to say $10. $10, 200 Rand. And most people struggle for this. In my country, I want to tell you a sad statistic. Let's just say majority of the 50 million people within our country earn minimum wage or below. You know what minimum wage is? It's $1 per hour or 20 Rand per hour. 20 Rand times 10 hours is 200 Rand. This is 10 hours of someone's time. I want you to think about this. We are only 55 or 56 seconds in. This times 60 is 1. Times 10. 600 times what you've just watched now is equivalent to this. And I've made another saying that I finally have money, but I want to tell you what it's like to have money. It's such a sad reality to think that this is 10 hours of someone's time. If you are a cleaner, if you are a domestic worker, if you are working in the garden for some other family or working as an employee, or you're a waiter or a waitress or any of these kind of jobs, you are earning 200 Rand for 10 hours of your life. Today I went to school. And at school this morning, they were telling us how we need to pick the right subjects so that we can get into the right degree. Why? So we can earn money in a job. But earning money in a job, no matter how much, is like earning 200 Rand a day. For some people, it's a lot. Think of what food is. Bread, 20 bucks, milk. So if you earn 200 Rand a day, you're earning enough for food. Now let's extrapolate this. 200 Rand times 10 days is 2,000. Over a month would be 6,000. Come with me. I want to show you. 6,000 Rand. When I had a little bit of money, there's a fridge behind me. But instead of spending that money on the fridge, I was thinking, let me move out. I'm young, but I'm vibrant. Let me go and make some money, and I'll ditch my entire life and throw everything, all of my God-given blessings away. So I took the money, and I went to go look at how much property is, how much it costs to rent a small little shelter. And we're not even talking as big as this. I'm blessed. We're talking a small little room, just enough space for a tiny kitchenette and a bed. And that man was going to charge me 5,000 Rand on the low end and 6,300 Rand for a bachelor. So we're saying you earn minimum wage, 200 Rand. Times 30 days is only 6,000 and rent 6,300. How can you survive? On the way home from school, we were going through the highway. All these people, cars back to back to back to back. This, to me, seems like we are being forced, or we are being put into a system to work our lives away. There's a reason, says Luke Belmar, famous guy on YouTube, that it's called human resource management. Why? Because you and me seem to be human resources. As I said, the highway was packed with people working for 200 Rand a day, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, but going to and from work. And maybe those people are actually the high income earners. South Africa has such terrible poverty rates, and as they say, youth unemployment. And we have to ask ourselves why. Why is the goal to earn 200 Rand a day? And the video here is about me saying, what is it like to have the money? So let me tell you what it's like. Firstly, I want you to look around me, my clothes, and around this beautiful room of mine. Look at how bland and boring it is. Navy, white, black, dark, dingy colors, besides for the beautiful sunlight. And look at this note of 200 Rand. Do you not see that it illuminates the room? Look at how your gaze follows the money. Something that most people do not have. An extra spare 200 Rand, which is just cash in your hand waiting to go. Now, I've said on countless occasions, the way to get wealthier, and I'm not a guru and I'm not ultra wealthy, but I've read Robert Kiyosaki's book. Now come with me. Robert Kiyosaki says, the poor invest in liabilities. So the second I get this 200 Rand, what do we do if we're in liabilities? We go straight to that fancy restaurant where it's the club, or whether it's a coffee shop, and we get our daily coffee, or we get our little burger and chips, Coke, something like that. But that's us investing in liabilities, things that not only just reduce our money, but take money away. A prime example is putting money to a car or to a house. Now, some of you might agree or might disagree with the fact that it's a bad idea to put money into a house or a car. fine, maybe you need it to earn money. But in most cases, people put their money to liabilities, like getting a fridge or getting electronic appliances which need maintenance, like TVs and cell phones, upgrading when they don't need to. He says, contrasting that with what the wealthy do, they will take this 200 Rand and they put it in a savings account at 5%. So let's say over a year, it makes 10 bucks. They will make sure that over the entire year, they spend less than that 10 Rand. Because they know that this money is kind of like an asset. Kind of like something their own employee. For some people, each 200 Rand is something that forces them to work for 10 hours. And for other people, 200 Rand is something that is freeing them. Each 200 Rand that produces the cash flow of 10 Rand, 10 Rand, 10 Rand. It all depends how you look at it. Robert Kiyosaki says that living off the cash flow of your assets is a way to get money. Now, 200 Rand can buy an awful lot right now. Let's say that this video is a mark of inflation. Date today, 20th of January 2025. What can 200 Rand buy you? Well, it can get you a burger, which is probably 135, 140. And probably with chips, it will come with that. And Coke, probably sitting at 170. If you want a bit of ice cream, that'll be about 60. Maybe 230, you can go out for a nice meal. How much is a Coke these days? 18 Rand, $1. What else can you get for 200 Rand? Well, if you fancy tobacco products, you could probably get a cigar. Not that you should smoke it, it's a bad idea. A cheap one is something you can get for 130. If you want to go fancy, one cigar. This either buys you all food or one cigar. Each loaf of bread's 20 bucks, so this can get you 10 loaves of bread. Or it can get you bread for 20, milk for 20, we're already at 40, and the remaining 60, put it on food, as in fruit, and maybe get a bottle of chips, a bottle of Coke and a bag of chips. 200 Rand these days actually goes quite far. I remember when I was in school, 6 years ago, I love to talk about school. They had a beautiful tuck shop, and I want to look at you in the camera here. They had a beautiful tuck shop. I remember my mom giving me 40 Rand for tuck shop. 40 Rand. You know what I could get for 40 Rand? We're only talking 6 to 10 years ago. I'm 17, so when I was 7, 8, grade 1, grade 2. 10 years ago, for 40 Rand, we're not talking 200, we're just talking 40 Rand. You can get a Coke or any drink. I remember they had something called a Foot, which was F-O-O-T, delicious, sluggish, not a sluggish sweet, but a slug sweet, if you want to call it that, or a chewy sweet. So that you can get, basically you can get a hot dog, a drink, that would be like 40, and maybe for 60 you can also get a Foot included. But a hot dog and a drink for at least 40, and if you're lucky, maybe a packet of chips. Nowadays, if you have 100 bucks, you could probably only get, now you need 100 bucks to get that drink, which would be 20, 30, and another 70 to get that same food that you once would have. 200 Rand wasn't always 200 Rand. I remember when I was way younger, we're talking before I even went into school, my dad wanted me to run to be fitter and healthier. So he said, right, we're going to run all the way from here back to home. I said, no, Daddy, I don't want to run. He said, you're going to run. I said, fine, but how much can you pay me? He said, I'll pay you 200 bucks. 200 bucks. I ran all the way from there all the way home. Back then, maybe it was only 4 or 5 kilometers, but it was a long way to run and worth it for giving up my money for time. How do you get wealthier? Well, most of us give up our time for money, and I don't know what else to do. All I can say is just try and amass as much of this money as possible. But if I can give you one piece of advice to get wealthier, live off the interest, as I've said before. But this is what it's exactly like to have money. Wow, wow, wow. Don't you also want it? I want more. You?